Assalamu alaikum and good morning, dear viewers. Today, our topic of history is Indo-Roman trade. Indo-Roman trade. What were the early trade relations between Indian subcontinent, mainly that of India, along with Pakistan and Afghanistan, and Roman? Rome was the capital of ancient Italy and the adjacent area at that time. And Indian at that time included the countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, today's India, although it included to some extent like that of Nepal, Bangladesh, but the contribution at that time was not, and the result, main result was towards North India. There are many literary sources as well as archaeological sources. Literary as well as, first of all, sources. Literally as well as archaeological source. Literary means all that is written in books, that means literary, whereas archaeological, what the archaeologists, that is the persons who are adept or well experienced in digging the earth, digging the earth and excavating earth's surface and excavating the past materials there that are of some use or historical use to the history. So these were the two sources, literary and archaeological sources, which provide us information about this Indo-Roman trade. And the trade which we get from this information was from the period of Mauryans. Mauryans, we know, were founded by Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya had founded it in 321 BC, and its last ruler was Brihadrat. Although this was not to be asked here, but you being my continuous viewer of the videos, so it will be very informative for you to get it revised. Brihadrast, who had been for the period of 185 BC when Pushyamitra Shunga killed him and founded his own Shunga dynasty. Now what we see here is the literary sources and archaeological sources both have given us information that the Mauryan period, from that period, India used to trade with these Romans. These sources which we see, particularly that are literary, are as number one, Periplus of Erythraean Sea. Periplus of Erythraean Sea. Today's it is Red Sea, but this book has been written by an unknown Greek, anonymous Greek scholar. This gives us information about the trade relations of Indo-Roman trade. Number two was natural history. Natural history is also a book that gives literary information about this trade and is written by Pliny. Pliny is sometimes called as Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder, and he was himself from Roman side. One more important informative book is Geography. Its name is Geography, although it may would have been given information about geography, but the name of that book is also the same. That is Geography, written by Ptolemy, and Ptolemy himself was also a Greek. Besides it, Indian sources also have given information about this Indo-Roman trade, and that included mainly Buddhist literature. Buddhist literature at that time, because at that time Buddhism prevailed to very much extent. So the Buddhist sources or Buddhist literature had also given information about Indo-Roman trade. Let, for example, first of all, we see Mahavastu was one book. Mahavastu. This gives information about this trade relation. Divya then was another. Divya then was another book, while that of Ashoka then was also the third Buddhist literature which gives information about all these. In the previous lecture, we had already said that Sangam literature had given us information about economic relations, trade relations, and much more. So, this Sangam literature also contributed much in giving us information about Indo-Roman trade relations. There are several archaeological evidences, that is, the evidences which have been taken from the earth, like Roman coins, now which is archaeological evidences like that of Roman coins, and the Roman coins were in gold and silver, gold and silver coins, which were founded in Tamil Nadu. Roman colonies from Arikamedu. Roman colonies from Arikamedu. Arikamedu is a place in Pondicherry. If you are not aware about this place, where this is, please go to the map of India and see where this is. Glosphere of Roman Empire, that is, this Roman Empire had been a very great empire of that period. Glosphere of that Roman Empire, especially amphorae. Amphorae has been found in India. Amphorae was a jar to keep wine. So far, archaeological literary sources have been seen. Now, one more important thing was trade routes. Trade routes, which give us evidence that India used to have trade relation with that Roman Empire. Initially, the Indians and Europeans used land route. At the first stage, land route was used for trade, which passed through Taxila and Taxila and Trans Oxena. Oxena. These are the two places. If it is map of India, I'm just making it map of J&K, and we know it was Taxila. Then here comes another place, is Transonia, Transonia, through which the traders used to pass through this land route, which was in Central Asia, these two places. But after the discovery of monsoon, the trade was carried more through sea routes. When monsoons were, see it is South Indian map, it is Arabian Sea. When the discovery of monsoons was known, then it was mainly from this side that trade used to be carried towards this South India, and it was the most easiest, safest, and the cheapest one than that of the land route. So, sea route was now more common. The ports which we saw during at that time were as, because finding these ports at that time means that the trade relations would have been very common through these, and the trade and the ports were like as Bragan Zaha, which was in Gujarat. Number two was Supara of Maharashtra. Maharashtra. I will recommend you to please go to the map and see these ports. If not, at least see the places like where the Gujarat state, Maharashtra, and other states which will be written just now, to locate them and remember them where these are in modern Indian map. Pakistan was also Pakistan, though it had been this place had been a capital of one dynasty. If you remember, please comment below. Maharashtra was also, this port was also in Maharashtra. Muzira was in Kerala. Muziris. This was in Kerala, and in Pohar had also been a capital. It was in Tamil Nadu. In case you remember where you have read this Pohar, please mention this one also. Tamra Lipti in West Bengal. Tamra Lipti in West Bengal. See from where to where we reached. If we started from here, Gujarat, and now we have reached here, it is West Bengal. So the trade would have been for a longer period of time. Otherwise, if it would have been for shorter, then it would have been now 1 to 3 ports and then ended. But when this trade remained for a long time, then the number of ports also began to be discovered and number increased. Braganza and Tamralipti, that is these two, that of Gujarat and West Bengal, were the most active ports. That is, they used to carry trade relations at a very large scale. Imports and exports would have been done here. What were the items that were traded? Items which were exported to Roman Empire from India included clothes, clothes that is both cotton and silk. Cotton and silk. It was from India because India, we know, is an agrarian country. So all the agricultural products would have been taken from here towards Roman. Spices, spices, mainly that of black pepper, which was used to preserve meat. Black pepper. It is having a great history that is said about this spice. It was this spice that made India the slave of Europeans later on. Sandalwood, sandalwood perfumes. Perfumes were also made here, and that those were traded to Romans. Ivory works, because craft was also very much here, so ivory work was also being exported. Gems and jewelry, gems and jewelry. These items were in great demand in European market, used both by elite, that is high class people, and masses. Masses means common people. In return, what Europeans used to import, export from that side, they had literally nothing. Literally, Romans had Romans had nothing to export towards India. So it was their necessity that gold and silver coins were to be exchanged to buy those precious things from India. So this trade was being done in this way. Some Indian elites also imported wine and glassware. As we have seen some evidences of glassware and the amphorae. Amphorae, that is a jar in which wine was kept. Hope you would have learned Indo-Roman trade in a good way so that you can write in any descriptive manner or in any manners, whether it may be UPSC or any civil service exam. Thank you for being with me.